Blizzard, this is an abomination. Lost all of my BFA rep, and then some GM responds that with a weird response. What's going on here? Blizzard, what the F? Okay, let's see what's going on here with Blizzard and their bad customer support, it looks like. Let's check this thing out here from Bellular.
If this player was to follow the official customer support given to them, ostensibly by a human support agent, we'll see if that's really true later on, then they would have actually wasted hours upon hours of their own time with a bad solution that didn't help their core problem, which was losing a almost uncalculable amount of progress on their character.
Oh, damn.
Would you know, it'd be really odd if one day I just phoned you.
Oh, ad price. Oh, got an ad
that
already.
That would be odd, but guess what? There's a fair chance I could. Perhaps because your insurance provider was hacked. You see, that just happened to Allianz Life Insurance just last month on the 16th of July, when hackers used social engineering to breach the third-party cloud system and get personally identifiable data on the majority of their 1.4 million customers. Now, that data can end up in the hands of data brokers, and through those data brokers, people who don't have your best interests in mind can get your information. And that's why I use today's sponsor, Incogni, because they are our way to fight back. Because when data leaks, brokers harvest it up and sell it on. If you ever wonder why spam callers are able to get your number, it's often that. And Incogni solves the problem by automating the legal work you would otherwise have to do. And the best news is, at incogni.com/BellularWarcraft, you get 60% off an annual plan. And here's how it works.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Get the plan. You enter your info,
it's a big deal.
And you're done. That is it. You see, you've got a legal right to have your data taken down, but doing that actually takes hours. It takes you filing things, and it's not permanent. So once Incogni gets your data, they automatically scan the brokers, they send the takedown request, they add you to suppression lists, they do it all automatically, and they rescan so your data is kept down. And
amazing.
To take a look at my progress, 206 sent, 12 are in progress, 194 completed, and I'm on 23 suppression lists. That, folks, is peace of mind. And at incogni.com/BellularWarcraft, you can get peace of mind.
Use the man's code.
It'll be 60% off as well with the annual plan if you follow my links, so check them out. And a big thank you to them for supporting the show. Hey Blizzard, we need to have a talk again because your customer support just lied to a player. Now, am I necessarily talking to Blizzard as in the developers, the frontline staff that almost certainly do really care about the game? No, this is overall about big systems and strategies and really things that probably came from
man. That's how, I hope they didn't. Is this another outsourcing of customer support? Is that what's going on? I literally left Xfinity because their customer support was so fucking bad. It was absolute garbage. I mean, every time I called them, I felt like the guy was just reading prompts from a book, like just flipping through, well, it was probably on the internet. He's just looking at a screen, scrolling through prompts. He's like, did you reset your internet? I'm like, I already told you. I did this shit before I even called you. I'm not, obviously unplugging and replugging the shit was the first thing I did, man. Oh, did you check this? Did you look at your speed? Okay, I already, look, man, just tell me, is this shit fixable or do I need to go get a new thing from the store? And it was just like, he had his steps, and he was making me go through the fucking motions, and it was all garbage. And half the time I was lying to him about even doing it, because I already did all the stuff. And it was clear he had no technical knowledge of what was going on. He was just reading prompts. And I don't blame the guy. I mean, that's all he's given to work with, right? So he's just going to do his freaking job. I blame Xfinity for outsourcing this shit to people who clearly don't know what they're doing, just so they can get some cheap freaking labor, which is bullshit. Because it's really the only time you ever interact with these companies is through customer support. So bad choice on their part, because I ended up dipping from them. I'm with AT&T Fiber now, and it's freaking been great. Oh, it's better than reading from a script. Did you turn it off and back on again? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Anyways, I'm starting to feel like that's what's going on here.
Soft or Blizzard corporate. If it was only a single story, I wouldn't cover it. I would think, okay, maybe this is an outlier. But the truth is, I've been reading your comments for months, for years, and a constant thing that comes up is people feeling that customer support has really just fallen off the deep end. I've especially seen recent
ever since the merger.
It's what we'll talk about today, but first, here's the inciting incident. Here's how this all started. So, a little while ago, Microsoft decided to do massive organization-wide cuts. We don't know specifically how many people were dropped from Blizzard Entertainment. We know it was 9,000 people overall, and we know that somewhere under 4,500 were from the Xbox division. But we at least do know for sure that the World of Warcraft social media team was essentially taken out the back and shot.
Yeah.
They were cut.
Which was unfortunate because they'd been dropping some gems before they got cut, man. There was some really, really good stuff there. Did you guys remember the orc waking up and doing the the workout thing in the water, like the putting their face in the ice and then, drinking the water. It was great. That was such a cool thing. And they had so many good ones up until they got cut. Honestly, the WoW social media was on fire before they ended up releasing all these people. Kind of sad.
Brutally. We did a video about that. That video really did pop off. And one of the big points of that video is World of Warcraft is a premium game experience. It shouldn't have marketing with poor copywriting and stuff that honestly just kind of looks like it's worthy of a mobile
AI
game.
generated
a
bullshit.
bad one at that. But in that video, a comment caught our eye. In fact, many of them did. Many of them were about customer service. But this is the one I'm choosing to highlight today. It's got 1.1k likes. It's from Felbud Protocol. And he reports his awful experience, right? He calls the customer support system fake. He reports that they send you a template response, that they don't read replies, that they just close tickets early, I guess to, make the KPI go up.
Makes
and that
sense.
they've, quote, given up on assisting players, but still want to fake that they have a support tool, which is pretty rough. But where today's story gets interesting is a reply. Here it is. Just yesterday, my friend opened a ticket about losing Battle for Azeroth rep. The response he got back was AI-generated slop. And here's where it gets interesting. We almost know for sure that friend is Valavi, who is a Redditor. They went to Reddit, they posted the response that they got. But before we check in, let's take a look at Blizzard.
The worst kind of person to treat badly on in customer support is a Redditor, because that shit's about to go viral.
It's official fix. Put yourself in Valavi's shoes. You have just lost all of your Battle for Azeroth reputations. That's something that you've probably ground out for dozens and dozens and dozens of hours on.
Yeah.
But hey, don't worry. Blizzard's legendary customer support is here, and they have a fix. Here's what you've got to do. You've got to travel to Gruken Hill. Yes, that's in Pandaria, and we're talking about BFA rep, but don't worry. You've got to travel to Gruken Hill. Then you've got to find the mailbox, and then you've got to fly across the mailbox, and then turn around and fly back over the mailbox. And
You're
each time you
joking.
do that, you'll get 1,000 rep. That's right.
What? The AI told him to do this? The AI told him to fly back and forth over the mailbox? Just wait, it gets better. Okay, all right.
It sounds like a weird tactic, but what if I told you the CS agent actually knew it was a weird tactic? They said, I found a workaround. It sounds quirky, but here goes. So Valavi has this
Did it
strange
work?
experience, and they then decide to share that. Good people over at r/wow. Okay, take a look at this. It's the Reddit post that absolutely soared up. And when you actually read the GM response that's there, I mean, it's clearly wrong. It's so bizarre. One of them, I'll just go through some highlights here. It starts...
Yeah, fly back and forth over the mailbox in Grunken Hill, and you can gain 1,000 rep each time. It's a bit of a grind, but it might help you regain your lost reputation.
Some very strange language. This
What
is
the hell?
Game Master, whatever their name is happy to assist you today. Gotta say, that is some very
AI
odd
shit,
use
yeah.
of English there. That's not really how we do the words. Now, a state-of-the-art large language model, say...
I was going to say, like, a ChatGPT is better than this, though. Like, supports... I actually use ChatGPT all the time to, like, correct some of my own grammar mistakes and stuff like that. It's really good at it, so I'm surprised that this mistake was in there, unless they're using an even cheaper version of this, which would be crazy because Microsoft literally owns this. Microsoft owns ChatGPT. So what the hell? Why would they be able to use their own... Actually, Copilot. Microsoft owns Copilot. They have a decent one that I use all the time, and yeah, it does correct things. It's not the best one out there, but it doesn't make mistakes like what you just saw. So that'd be crazy if Microsoft ain't even using their own shit to correct stuff.
ChatGPT o3 or a Claude Opus would not make that
You
sort
type
of
like you
mistake.
read? Yeah, basically.
Seriously, it would not. So clearly, this is written by a human. And honestly, that actually does tell us something about how this has almost certainly been outsourced.
A human whose second language is English, most likely. Or third language could be even. So yeah, that makes sense.
Now, the info that it gives is obviously insane. No human that actually knows World of Warcraft would make a mistake like that. Battle for Azeroth is not Mr. Pandaria. Under no universe would that method work. And if you want an explanation here, I can at least say my working theory is this is human CS heavily using AI, with the actual human not really knowing that much about World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And there really are a few AI smoking guns here. One of them is, I want you to know you aren't alone in this. Which, Look, that's one of those things that the language models really like to do.
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
want another example of like how to spot peak AI, you need only take a look at this banging tweet from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who, is kind of the man behind all of this. So he said this: 25 days, 5 battles, scores tied 2-2. This isn't just a game. EM dash. It's test cricket in all its timeless glory. Now, here's
Well, AI loves to use these dashes. I've seen these in emails from coworkers and stuff, and yeah, I've even sent some on my side. They loves to do this shit.
the thing, everyone. You see that this is not X, it is Y. That is an extremely common pattern that we see. And it's no surprise that the replies to that tweet are a mixture of people who are fools and therefore just talking about some banging cricket, and people who are saying, it's not X, it's Y. Obviously, kind of what's up there. Bringing it back to this customer support thing, suffice it to say, there are a few little just examples of something really looking quite AI generated. And the funny thing is, when they say, I want you to know you're not alone in this, does have the funny side effect of really making the problem
Makes you feel like you're alone.
Huge. And to me, it basically feels like a large language model with a system prompt that is designed basically to glaze people up and to try to look like it's extremely emotionally intelligent. And big picture, what you see in this writing is just an awful signal-to-noise ratio. So it's a bad response in just about every way. Especially, of course, the fact that it's literally not...
I just want to know if this gave him any rep in any sort. Like, did it give him Miss Pandaria rep or something? How did this shit even come up? Was the person using AI and it was scanning freaking Reddit forums or something? I have no idea how this even happened.
Helpful whatsoever. It's actually the opposite of that. It will lead to your customer wasting time. I have to imagine that's the sort of thing someone would unsub over. Now, when we go to the replies, we see quite a lot else. As an example, half of Kleenex TS's group apparently didn't get a Wrath Classic achievement. So they made a ticket, customer support ticket. And in the ticket, they referenced the Wowhead guide that they used to get this achievement. The customer support agent then responded by linking them the Wowhead guide back and telling them they needed to follow the exact steps. Now, that's the same guide that Kleenex TS sent the GM. Of course, the Being that they followed the guide, half the people got credit, and apparently the other half didn't. Who knows, maybe it could be a mistake, but it certainly doesn't seem that helpful. Moving on then, we've got this post from Wolfhard, and look, if true, this is an absolute banger. So they suspected AI, and they say they replied, you can stop acting like a human, only to get a reply, I was instructed never to break character. If true, and pics if true, God, that would be funny, even though obviously pictures could be faked. Now, what I would like to do is maybe break down one thing that's in your head, which I can just imagine is, what the fuck, Lamau? As in, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
How did somebody who had a problem with Battle for Azeroth get told to go to Pandaria? Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are saying this is an AI hallucination, that the model just invented it out of nowhere. No.
I don't think so. I feel like it probably pulled it off a forum somewhere. Like this was an issue in Missa Pandaria and someone figured out this rep way to get rep, something like that. I have no idea. They pulled it off of some kind of random forum and took it as gospel and and then just splurted it about back as a reply. Your exams were open book. The bar was not. Okay. Let's relax, people.
This is actually not
Jesus
a hallucination. It is based on this forum post that's linked. Basically, what had happened is that using level sync would reset someone's reputation with the forest hosen, right? And then when you continue to quest, you wouldn't earn that rep back. Now, this is a pretty rough progression blocking bug because with the wrong reputation, well, the quest NPCs will be hostile to you. And yes, apparently the solution was to fly back and forth over the mailbox. So this
so it was a
real
solution
thing.
back in the day.
It's just completely not related to this specific user's problem. Therefore, it's very bizarre that it turned up in a customer support scenario. So, is the CS real or is it fake? Well, I'd certainly say if it's 100% AI, it is poorly made. We've been able to do things like document retrieval for a very long time. I think they call it RAG, but anyway, LLMs that are particularly good at tool use, like Anthropic's Claude series, should actually do quite well here. So if they do have some sort of AI solution where the customer support agent can just copy someone's complaint, put it into a box and say, find me a solution, my god, they really must have cheaped out on that system. What actually does make a little bit more sense to me is that this is actually a post from a human. And I do have reasons for that. But of course, I do think this is a human using LLMs. When I actually look at
it's a human using AI, and the problem is not that they're using AI. That's fine. The problem is there's no real human oversight here. There's no human knowledge backing it up. I use AI, but I use it to table data because I'm lazy. I always want to double check the info. That's what it's good for. It's good for double checking things, correcting minor issues. But if you're using AI as the end all be all of to inform you on a subject that you know nothing about, it's going to lead to problems. That's what's going on here. This customer service agent clearly knows nothing about the game. The first inkling, like the first thing that any of us who play this game know, is when we saw this reply, we were like, why the hell would it tell him to go to Grunken Hill? What does that have to do with this? That's a completely different expansion. And all of us would have just thrown it away as like a bad AI response. But this guy clearly doesn't even know where this is, doesn't realize that it's part of a separate expansion, and just threw it back out to as customer service. We're talking about a Fortune 500 company. This is Microsoft. Shit, it's top 10 most of the time. It's ridiculous that this is the kind of shit that they're putting back out for one of their biggest franchise titles. This is the customer service you're getting. It's pretty bad.
Quality of writing, you can see things
Sounds
that
good,
just the modern models would not do. It feels very much like someone who's got English as their second language is using a very basic, like, improve this writing sort of little tool or whatever it is in the UI that they do their customer support tickets with. Then there's the actual information provided. Again, that feels like someone who does not know World of Warcraft using an internal AI tool to fetch information related to the user's request. Of course, if the human doesn't actually know much about World of Warcraft, and if the AI tool is completely generic and therefore not really, I won't even do the stuff basically not set up for WoW, then yeah, that would kind of make sense. Someone in a
No, I compliment Blizzard all the time. I talk about I still love the game. I talk about how I'm excited for the expansion. I talk about how good the story's been in this recent patch. I think it's been pretty good. I think the raid's been fun. But how am I going to talk good about this? I mean, I got to calls it like I sees it. This is some bad shit. This is bad. This is not good. AI garbage being spit out by somebody whose third language is English. And like I said, it's not that guy's fault. He's just using the tools that he has. He's being paid. It's Microsoft's fault for going and employing these people to do this shit because they want to get cheap labor. Poor guy just trying to feed his family. He's just doing his work. It's not his fault.
Generic outsourcing customer support company just uses their internal tools, gets an answer, slaps it in, calls it a day, doesn't really care about giving the person an amazing experience, and yes, they don't even know that they did something as preposterous as telling someone to fly about a mailbox in Pandaria because their BFA wraps broke. And I'd say this also explains the Wrath of the Lich King Classic report that I covered a little bit ago, because that's Wrath Classic. That happened years ago, before our LLMs were as capable and as deeply integrated in so many of these companies. Because look, the truth here is, Blizzard's customer support has been getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse for years upon years. So yeah, I'm hardly surprised that, say, something really cheap or just some outsourcing was responsible for that Wrath Classic report. And obviously, if you have had negative customer support experiences with Blizzard, of course, with this premium game that you're paying money for and should expect a premium, respectful, useful, helpful response from, then do please tell me in the comments. I really want to see user reports in this.
That's the thing. Like, WoW is not a cheap hobby. It's really not. We're paying money every month to play this game. Plus, we're paying for every expansion. Plus, you're paying for whatever the hell. Maybe you wanted something off the store. I don't know. Maybe you needed a WoW token to buy something in the game. Who knows? But you're paying a decent amount of money to play this game. It ain't no cheap hobby. At the end of the day, you expect the same in return. If you're paying $1 a month for some kind of fucking weird ass software that's supposed to pirate movies for you so you can watch them on your TV, and you pay $1 a month to access their servers, you don't expect the best customer support. You understand what that transaction entails, right? It's some shady shit, and you're gonna get shady shit back, and sometimes it's gonna work, sometimes it's not, but whatever, it's $1. When you're paying as much as we pay for WoW, you expect some decent customer support. Or at least, a game that maybe is gonna have some solutions built in, right? If an issue like this happens, you don't want to give me access to a person. Give me some kind of bot that actually knows what it's doing, not this garbage. I mean, come on. Yeah, like I said, you're not getting what you pay for here. You're getting something substantially worse.
Let's go deeper. Okay, listen up, especially if you are a decision maker at Blizzard Entertainment who is more in, the managerial sense and has a mind that only thinks of the quantitative. Well, this will probably work for you. There's a rather famous quote: "The purpose of a system is what it does." Now, that emerges from a discipline that is called systems thinking. And systems thinking is amazing. It helps us not get lost talking about parts and details that don't matter. Instead, it has us thinking about the whole and has us thinking about the outputs. And to this, enter Stafford Beer. Now, he's a fairly interesting dude, but one of the things he's quite well known for is that phrase: "The purpose of a system is what it does." You might be thinking, okay, what is that? Sounds neat, but I don't really understand. It's actually really, really simple. The point of that is to absolutely obliterate the sheer cope that corporate morons like to huff to keep themselves deluded and perhaps keep themselves alive with what they do. And to spell out literally, I've got a quote that really does capture it, so here goes. Quote: "There's no point in claiming that the purpose of a system is to do what it consistently fails to do." I think you can see how, oh boy, that really does
circular
apply here.
thinking.
Blizzard customer support is not customer support. It increasingly seems like
it's a response-driven algorithm. It's just supposed to pump out responses to customer tickets, but not necessarily support them. Is that what's going on here?
Commenter Fellbud from earlier in the video is right, and I'll remind you of what they said. Quote: "It feels like they've completely given up on actually assisting players, but still want to fake that they have a support tool."
Yeah.
And so I say to you, the purpose of the system is what it does. The system provides the illusion of support. That is its purpose. To believe otherwise is sheer cope and delusion. But guess what?
Totally
You're one
makes
of my
sense.
corporate friendos over at Blizzard.
The thing is, too, like all these investors, they're always asking these corporate leaders now, well, how are you implementing AI to, reduce your cost structure and make sure you're more profitable and all this shit? And then these companies got to come up with ways they're doing it. So whether the AI is ready for this or not, they all want to be first movers. They all want to be first to market. They want to get the investor dollars first. So they're all implementing all this AI shit, and the AI is not ready for it, and it's pumping out garbage. And who's the ones who are suffering? It's the customers. They're the ones getting the garbage on the back end. It's not the CEOs or anything else like that. They're getting the cost savings. That's what they care about. And so we're just getting a bunch of early implementers, and we're getting a bunch of indications that it's not ready for this yet.
Or Microsoft. Well,
I'm sure it will be eventually, but not yet.
Going to be even less fun now. So, World of Warcraft is a premium product. It is also what we would call a fat-tailed product, which is to say that a lot of the returns you get are very much in the future. Now, World of Warcraft attracts customers who are happy to spend money, and those are some of the best customers you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you do not want to be stuck running a free-to-play game having to deal with all the problems that come with free-to-play. Now, the customer service experience here feels like it's a shitty free-to-play game, not a premium product.
Like I said, yeah, you would think you get what you pay for. This is an expensive club to be part of when it comes to gaming. And we're just getting, garbage-ass stuff like this. It's not expected at all. When you pay this much for something, you expect something good in return.
Also, this customer support, whether it is
You certainly
internal
expect
or it
customer
is just
support.
some white-labeled external shit, well, it is Blizzard branded. So to an end user, it is a reflection of Blizzard's values and focus. That means that
What a shame, man. He tags this thing with your game master at the bottom here. I remember when game master used to mean something. I remember when GMs used to be in the game doing crazy shit. You would see a game master in the game and it was like, oh my God, this is the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the literal master of the game. They know everything and can do anything. Remember GM Island and all that stuff? Man, they were legendary. If a GM whispered you in-game, it felt like you were talking to a prophet or something. It was amazing. And now it's been reduced to some kind of guy signing an email overseas. That's sad.
It is a reflection of Blizzard's values and focus. That means the performance of this will inform how people view the Blizzard brand. And in case you haven't noticed, even though WoW has genuinely done way better, and even Overwatch has had quite a lot of wins lately, well, the Blizzard brand really has not been rehabilitated. It appears there's no amount of wheeling out Chris Metzen that can magically do that. And the reason why is obvious. These problems have nothing to do with Chris Metzen or Polly Longdale or Ian Hazacostas or Morgan Day or any of the people that you could probably immediately think of when you think World of Warcraft. They're likely not the people who make the big budgetary calls on these sorts of things.
They're not.
Now, this is all about the corpo decision-making, and you've probably heard another little phrase. I know it's been a bit of a quote-heavy video. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk to you about synergistically pursuing blue sky opportunities to maximize shareholder return. Anyway, no. What gets measured gets managed. We've all heard that quote.
Yep.
And if the people who are running the customer service have got KPIs, key performance indicators, or perhaps OKRs, objectives and key results, that are all about tickets closed,
Jesus.
or percentage of tickets closed, or average wait time
That's
of
guaranteed. That's what's going on. They're closing these tickets as fast as possible because they got to hit their metrics for the month. That is 100% what's happening here. And especially when you're outsourcing this shit, it's all about metrics. Because Microsoft don't know what the fuck's going on in this random place and got wherever Pakistan, Bangladesh, God knows where. They're just getting back metrics. Like, hey, thank you for paying us this month. Here's the metrics. We closed this many tickets. We did this much shit. We got this much results. And that's it. They don't actually dig into the data. They just take it, put it in their report for the month. Here's our C-suite report. There you go. This much savings plus this much tickets solved. Boom. Done.
ticket. Then guess
Sad,
what?
but that's what it
Those
is.
will be optimized for, and tickets will be closed even though your customers are unhappy. And that is how, in a systemic way,
Like a timer in a
by
restaurant, yeah.
influeing the incentives, you end up with customer support experiences like the ones that people constantly
Right,
tell
Malden.
me. But Blizzard doesn't seem to see this as a big problem, even though they should. Take a look at this. This is an exit survey. You'll note there is no clear customer support option. Of course, the intent would be that Other would fill something like that. But there's an obvious problem. Other asks the user to put in extra effort to write a whole bunch of words. Will they really
Yeah.
do that? Especially when they're going through an annoying form on a thing they're trying to cancel? I would certainly think not. Now, Blizzard, this is why you cannot trust your own data. And again, this is why the quantitative stuff is useful, but can be deeply misleading. As an example, Blizzard have long said that class changes would very
What's
often
up,
be a
IDK?
driver of unsubscriptions. But what if the class changes are only the straw that broke the camel's back? What if that player actually lost faith that their class feedback would be actioned? Maybe because they got a bunch of bad customer support experiences.
It's bad. It's a bad thing because it does lead people to leave. I gave you the Xfinity story early on. Like, if I had talked to customer service and the Xfinity guy knew what the fuck he was talking about, actually solved my problem, I was not going to leave them. I had been with Xfinity for, at that point, it had been like 8 years. 8 years of me using their service. But I was just fed up with it. I'm like, this shit's not working. There's no way for me to fix it. I'm clearly not getting what I'm paying for because, again, it's a product that I was paying a lot for. I was paying for their top-end internet service, the fastest speeds possible. I stream, so I needed the best service possible. And that shit was cutting out constantly. Customer service can't help me. I'm fucking leaving. What am I going to do? I don't have any more options. You guys are literally forcing me out at this point. So I left their asses. And I'm happy I did because now my shit works. And when I've talked to AT&T, it's been a person who, like, they can actually help me. But for the most part, it's just been working, which is great. I mean, it's important because Blizzard will lose subs over this. If somebody loses time that they've grinded out in the game, it feels like your time is no longer valuable, which just makes you feel like, well, I'm dipping then. I'm not fucking doing this shit again. And people will just unsub. And it's sad because all they had to do was spend a little bit more money on a good customer service agent, and they could have kept this person around and actually made more on the back end. But it's always about the short-term results with these C-suite employees and shit like that. It's just about how good can I make it look this quarter. That's how they're just looking quarter to quarter. They don't give a shit about keeping somebody around for another 10 years. They're going to be long gone by then, so fuck it.
You may never be able to trace that user had bad customer support experiences, and you may think that it's the class changes that are the sole reason why they left.
Right.
That's not what the reality would be, because humans are complex, and we don't just make a call based on one single thing. And even if we say the prime reason is a class change, well, maybe if we had a better opinion of the company, a better view of the brand, then that one thing would not have crossed the threshold of an unsub.
Sure.
And my final point, and this is one that does actually impact some of the Blizzardy people that I would know because this is the product that they're running. Look, focusing on fast money is dangerous, right? And
that's what I just said.
I mean, in a way, right? Say with our channels, I could try to focus on fast money, but I know that would be a terrible, terrible move. It's why I talked about how some things are fat-tailed in their returns, and you should be cognizant of that and maybe focus on those because that's
you know how many fucking random ass Raid Shadow Legends offers I've gotten to like make a specific YouTube video for Raid Shadow Legends, and they'll pay me out like X $100. Whatever, it's not, I'm not going to sit here and act like they're offering me 20K, all right? I might do it at that point. But they're just offering me, like, random-ass amounts of money. I'm not going to do it because that's just like a short-term power grab that's going to kill my channel. People right now come here because they want to watch WoW content. If I put out a 20-minute video about Raid Shadow Legends, the fuck? That's some short-term thinking right there. Now, if I'm only worried about this quarter, like I got to impress my CEO wife or something for this quarter, and I got to find out where I can find another $600, I might put out a Raid Shadow Legends video. But I'm not focused on what I'm making right now. I'm focused on the long-term health of the channel. So I'm not going to pull some stupid-ass stunt like that. But that's what they're doing here. They're worried about the quarter. They're worried about pumping out AI metrics. So they're just taking the short-term, short-term cost-cutting measures, and they're not worried about what will happen on the back end. That'll be somebody else's problem.
Aligned with a delightful customer experience. Now, your customer lifetime value matters so much more than any amount of money you could get in 1 or 2 months. Obviously. I mean, yes, I know the individual business units have all got to have strong P&L, blah, 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 blah. Set that aside. Let's talk about the big picture. So if you pump up your game with cosmetics, with WoW Token, with all your pre-order bonuses, but then you're delivering an awful customer support experience, people will feel undervalued. And that's because you are a premium product, right? And a premium product demands premium support. That's just the way that it is, because you're dealing with people. And there's a problem here. You see, Xbox is, in its DNA, the B2B business, right? It's Microsoft, an enterprise software company, a cloud infrastructure company, etc., etc. And the way it works with those, and you've probably seen, if you've looked at any SaaS tool, you'll have the like basic, pro, team, and then enterprise. And one of the things you'll see listed under enterprise features will be premium customer support. Because in the world of B2B, the only way you get good customer support is if you are a high-ticket client.
But that's the thing. I feel like WoW players are high-ticket clients. You know how many other companies wish that they could capture the WoW player base? We are a player base in a world of free-to-play. Fucking degenerates that still pay money every month to play a game, to get access to a game that you're paying for. That's insane. You know how well like Riot would do or any of these other companies would do to capture the WoW player base, to capture a player base that's willing to pay money every single month? We are the highest end client here. We are the enterprise client. And the fact that we're not getting enterprise treatment is kind of fucked up. It honestly is. We're the most premium gamers out there. Somebody who pays. We pay for internet. We pay for the service fee. We pay the monthly subscription fee, and we pay for the expansion. And then on top of that, we pay for WoW store items. Like you release a cool mount. This guy's already paid 3 times over, and now he's paying for a 4th thing. We're a player base that any other company would be freaking busting their nuts over to have. And now Blizzard's giving us this garbage ass customer support. Come on. Treat us like enterprisers. That's what we are.
B2B, the only way you get good customer support,
and we play
is
every
if
single
you
day,
are
basically,
a
yeah.
high-ticket client, and that's the sort of thing that they will optimize around. These big enterprise companies, they can focus on humongous contracts with individual clients. The problem about Blizzard Entertainment is they are games as a service, B2C, business to customer, and that very much is a more one-to-many relationship. You'll have so
Bring back the
many
game
customers,
masters, yeah.
each one being of a lower value. Very different dynamic to what you see in the B2B SaaS market. So, in a case like that, you need a fundamentally different force structure, culture, systems, etc., to design a customer support experience that fits being a large games as a service that is premium. And the problem is, that's kind of expensive. Yeah, it is kind of expensive. And maybe you could harness AI to actually make that useful, to make some cool internal tools or things that can help your team or better triage customer experience, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe you can innovate there. But the core point is, the core problem perhaps is, you could immediately say, oh, why the hell would we do that? Why would we do that? That would cost so much money. This is where I would say, it is fat-tailed, right? You do not do this expecting an immediate return. You do this because your brand has value. Your customer relationship has got value.
Exactly.
You're a game with millions of customers who have probably got lifetime values in the multiple thousands of dollars. So in a world like that,
true.
You need to focus on the fat tail. And one of the reasons why Blizzard got itself into this whole sticky situation of being a massive company that people used to love,
Justin, I know,
is because they were loved for a reason. They were loved because you would actually have a game master teleport to.
This is the time, man.
I mean, even take my customer service experience.
This was great. I did this before when I was playing classic WoW. When it was vanilla. When I was playing original WoW back in 2005, I did have an issue, and a game master did appear to me. You know what a cool experience that was. You know how talk about premium experience. Your customer service agent appearing to you in the digital world and talking to you in the game. This was fucking amazing. This felt premium. This felt like, okay, I am getting a customer. I am being treated as one of the greatest gaming assets out there. I'm a WoW gamer, and Blizzard's treated me like you are one of the greatest customers we can have in gaming. You're going to get a full experience right now with your customer service that even fits the lore. Like, this was like a lore moment in the game. Like, oh my God, it's a game master. Like, Gandalf the White just showed up, and he's here to save you. Like, that's what it felt like. And not anymore. Now you're getting some random ass person. And like I said, I don't blame those people. Guy, Koresh or whatever the hell is name. Koresh, that could be a name for somebody overseas. This guy's just trying to do whatever he can with what he's been given. It's Microsoft's fault for kind of sending this shit out there and deleting cool experiences like this from the game. It's sad.
Says, very often, here I would be in Northern Ireland. Do you know where my customer support agent would be? A few miles down the road in Cork. Because they actually had amazing industry-leading customer service. And it is one of the things that always ingratiated me to the company, where I kind of thought, wow,
you're right,
really
Cadence.
doing that cool. And I don't doubt their individual CS agents. And there are people in the company who believe, who bleed blue, who want this to be great. And you know what? If not for your players, well, they're the people you need. They are the bedrock of your culture. If you undervalue their work, if you make it feel like they are just fighting against an infinite tide of slop, where quality of work similar to...
Yeah, like you're saying, Cadence, all the customers combined still don't invest as much money into the company as the shareholders do. This is true, but the shareholders are depending on the customers to drive the price up. The problem is most shareholders are very much short-sighted, right? They want instant profits. They want to invest, pull in, and pull out quickly. They want to get a return on their investment quickly and pull out. Customers are going to be, especially WoW customers, are going to be long-term. They don't want to play this game. They don't play the sub to play for 1 month. They're paying the sub because they're expecting to play for a long time, years out. I would love this game to continue on forever. But an investor don't give a shit about what's going to happen with WoW 20 years from now. He cares about, these next 3 months, this next quarter, and how it's going to look. So yes, you're appeasing the shareholders, the bigger price payers out there. But at the end of the day, you're hurting the back end, which is really what matters. Like I said, take the Raid Shadow Legends example. I could take more money this month, but I should know that it's going to hurt me down the line. It's going to hurt the credibility of the channel and everything else. And that's what Blizzard's doing. They're taking the Raid Shadow Legends money. Damn it, Raid, you ruin everything.
What we've highlighted today, where that is acceptable,
Could be a decent
they'll just
game, I don't
leave and
even
go
know.
to somewhere else. They'll leave and they'll go to a company that values its customers. Now, I have no doubt that the people working on World of Warcraft, making decisions on World of Warcraft, value customers. I mean, as an example, every time I've done an interview with like Ian or Holly, they immediately strike me as warm, friendly people who do actually get it. Seriously, like that's the person-to-person vibe that I get. And you know what? I think that actually demonstrates the problem. That this is not about finding someone and taking their head off and putting it in a spike and going, look at this, big consequences. No. Even if you're good, it doesn't matter. The actual problem is the system. And as I'm sure I've beaten into you today, well, the purpose of the system is what it does. We don't have customer support. We have customer fobbing off, customer management, customer brushing under the rug teams.
I thought he was going to say customer
so there
fapping.
We go. What a fun
fine.
video. To be honest, I do actually love talking about topics like this. It's pretty much why our entire other channel, Other News, exists. So if you want more stuff like this, head over there. Until then, I'll see you all at the mailbox in Pandaria.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, I mean, look, you can't just be mad at Blizzard about this. This is typical of any publicly traded company at this point, right? Which is why people have fallen in love with indie games, because they're small companies that don't answer to shareholders. Any company right now that answers to shareholders, this behavior is what's occurring. This is typical shit that you're seeing everywhere. So, I don't know what to say. It is what it is. Hopefully AI eventually gets to a point where it actually can provide decent customer service. But right now, combining AI with somebody who doesn't know anything about the game to give you customer service is really just what he said. It's not customer service. It's just customer be gone kind of behavior. It is what it is. A nice video from Bellular.